Welcome back to Game On as we continue to discuss the beautifully South African game, but we shift focus now and talk about the calling knockout, talk about a special interview. Well, we do have Cheris Kosana back, but the special guest we have is Mthokozisi from Far Post. Thank you so much for making the time to join us. And let's talk about the games coming up in as far as the calling knockout. So Chiefs, the Mamelodi Sundowns, of course, the one everybody's talking about. Chiefs, well, they've struggled over the last two games, a loss and a draw where they've had to come from behind. Sundowns, well, they've also not had a 100% record in recent times. Yeah. How do you see this game? It's nicely poised for all the fans, of course, going to this game.
Yeah, look, I think it's a very interesting one. I mean, considering how they played in the league. I mean, that 2-1, I think we saw a nice, closely contested game, especially in the second half of that game. And since then, Kaizer Chiefs have struggled a bit. Being beaten by SuperSport, and also, playing a 2-2 draw against Mthokozisi. So not looking very good for them in the league. But they would be hoping this could be a game where if they do win it, try and end that 9-year trophy drought. But Sundowns also, I think we saw them losing to Polokwane City, and then coming back and beating Cape Town City 3-0. So it'll be interesting to see how they play it out.
Now, Jerry, from a goal-scoring point of view, Kaizer Chiefs, when you look at in the league already, Sundowns have scored more than 10 goals. Pirates, who Chiefs are comparing themselves to, have scored more than 10 goals. Chiefs haven't. They're still on single digits. Do they have a problem in the striking department? Yes, Shabalala scored a couple, but still, do they have a consistent goal scorer at Chiefs?
Well, I think that's the problem that they're facing now. They don't have like an out-and-out striker. You've got guys like Yabo, Dupree, you're looking at Chiva Vero. Those are the guys that you want to put everything into them to say these are the out-and-out strikers that you expect them to, to score goals. But you look at the Mthokozisi game, two youngsters that are doing well for me, they are in the fold. So sometimes you don't have to put pressure on these youngsters. These are the old players that are senior players coming from experience, bringing experience to Kaizer Chiefs. But now everything is sitting on the youngsters, but good for the youngsters because they are showing their class as well. Filagazi, Shabalala scoring those 2 goals to equalize against Mthokozisi on Wednesday. So for me, it's a good thing on those youngsters. But for Chiefs, they still have to go out there and look for somebody who can bang in goals for them.
About depth, where Chiefs is concerned, are they looking to fix the problem?
Yeah, look, I think they obviously need players. I mean, the coach has made it clear that the material that he has not good enough to play the way that he wants to play, particularly in the strike force, where they've got Ranga Chivaviro. It's been very inconsistent. They are obviously looking at bringing in a striker. They're looking at a striker from overseas to come in and maybe get them goals. But also they're also trying to fix the wings. I mean, if you look at Nabi's game, go back to his time at Young Africans, played a lot with traditional wingers, the likes of Twisila Kisinda, Jesus Moloko, the Congolese winger. And so they're looking at someone like Elias Mokwana, who could possibly come in on loan because he's not getting game time in Tunisia. His coach that signed him, Miguel Cardoso, has actually left the club, and there's talk that Joseph Zimbabwe could be the man coming in. So his future a bit uncertain there. So he's a player that they could, I mean, we know they wanted to sign him before he left for Tunisia. So maybe then if he comes in, he could get those goals for them and also create for their 9.
Talking goals, Sundowns have a number of goal scorers. Reyners has been great all season with other players contributing, Jerry. But Shalile is back, got a 2, and that's great for him in hitting the ground running from this point on, they hope. But he adds to the firepower for Sundowns.
That's the mentality of a striker. If you know you've got everybody looking upon you and you're not delivering, and this is what the turnaround that Shalulile has done on Wednesday. I mean, scoring those 2 goals, being there, at least it says a lot. But if I have to come back to what Mtho is talking about now in terms of Chiefs bringing a Swedish, if maybe, according to me, seated and watching our football here in South Africa, I would be looking at the boy from Mthokozisi, Makubu. I would be looking at Makubu, honestly speaking, because if you get a player like that one and then you bring to Chiefs, I was looking at his energy against Orlando Pirates, not scoring a goal, but creating havoc to the defenders and also having his own teammates getting the advantage of that. And you look at him against Kaizer Chiefs on Wednesday, the first goal he scored. To me, that's a prolific striker, and I wish for a boy that he can get something good for him, because what I've seen in the past 2 games with the 2 big clubs, for me, he's a top striker.
We have to talk about Richards Bay and the Cape Town City. 2 sides that haven't been all too consistent this season, but they need this cup competition, of course, just to get their season going right and to give them some confidence going forward.
Yeah, look, I mean, Cape Town City, I mean, when you look at the way they signed, I thought they would do very well this season. But, I mean, Eric Tinkler feels his players got a lot of new players. They still need to gel and, get the team as a unit. But the results have not been good in the league. We saw them losing to Stellenbosch 3-0. We saw them losing to Sundowns 3-0. Not very good. Also, but they do play a Richards Bay side that has also not done very well. I think one win
in the league,
and they've lost twice as well. But I do feel Cape Town City have the quality. They've got good players, really. So be interesting to see if they can actually make use of the players, the good players that they have. Bit worried about their defense. Been conceding quite a lot. I mean, if in 2 games they conceded 6 goals, it's obviously a huge concern.
Jerry, we have to talk about the defending champions. Stellenbosch, and Marumo Gallants. Marumo Gallants, 1 win in the cup, 1 in the league. Now, they're stumbling at the start of this season. Stellenbosch, are you expecting them to reign supreme here and move on?
Yeah, I really do, but I don't know if it's going to be like that. But the area that Marumo Gallants chose to play Dr. Petrus Mulumela Stadium, it's going to be an advantage to them, honestly speaking, because you look at Stellenbosch, they're a team that goes into cities and towns. Now they are going right in the middle of the township in Bloemfontein. So, maybe Marumo Gallants can get that one out. But, I can still go with the Stellenbosch.
Man, I must ask you guys about the team that's making a name for itself over the last month, Mthokozisi. They're still in the competition, but then in the TS Galaxy, another that the Mthokozisi could look at and think, we threw with Kaizer Chiefs, Sishaye, Pirates. Their confidence could be up for Galaxy.
Absolutely. I mean, I spoke to Clinton Lassen before the Kaizer Chiefs game, and he said, look, when we play these teams, we have to work 10 times harder than they do. We saw them do it against Pirates. We saw them do it against Kaizer Chiefs, almost stealing a win. But they do play a team that reached the final of this same competition last season, TS Galaxy, who also want to, pick themselves up and, get themselves, going in this competition. So it's going to be a very, very tricky one. Looking out for, Puso Titejane, the former Kaizer Chiefs academy player. I think he's been doing well since, making that switch. But you've got Wanda Makubu as well on the other side. Makesi, I think he's actually did very well last season, I think, scoring about 10 goals. So it will be a very interesting one.
Interesting times in the way of South African football, of course. And we'd firstly like to take the time to thank Mtho, as well as Jerry, not forgetting Shane McGregor, and take the time to thank you at home for joining us here on a Game On. From myself, Sizwe and the rest of the team that is behind the scenes, it's click, click, bang.